have, you know, a real confined spot where everything just reverberates around your head.
Chainsaws and everything.
Oh, yeah. Not to mention all the shooting I've done. I wear hearing protection now, though, all the time. And pretty well developed finding of facts she put out there, Mike.
Do what I can.
Yeah, nice job.
Gotta make sure that they're not trying to sneak anything through, you know?
I'm not sure how we ever used to get by without all this.
It's pretty haphazard,
Well,
I think.
hopefully this is useful and makes it a little more clear, doesn't complicate things.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Especially this one's a little tricky. Just because it's non-conforming stuff, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're rolling or it's recording, but it's not quite 6 o'clock, so.
Good start. I mean, I don't care. It's a couple of minutes.
It's your meeting.
Let me get back to the top. What's that?
They're scrolling well.
I had a good teacher.
My boys don't have much patience for me.
My wife didn't have much patience with me either, but she did get it going for me. She said, your email's supposed to just pop up. I said, it is? Really?
Okay.
It's just gonna pop up. It did. I just wasn't looking in the right place, you know?
That's where I am at home.
And I got a Mac at home. That's what I've been using for years.
So how did you get to
I
that?
get it.
Um.
Oh, anyway,
yeah,
we might, you guys wanna
You
start?
clicked on Chrome.
Sure.
Yeah,
You
sure.
guys wanna start?
Okay, yeah, just happened, yeah, we're all set.
Right, would you please join me in the pledge of allegiance?
Make me sure you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So we'll start this meeting up. First thing we want to do is a review of January 5th minutes.
Make a motion, we accept them as written.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay.
Great.
There's no old business tonight. The new business is Schooner Landing, map 06, lot 022.
I'll give you a little, you probably remember, but I'll give you context for the viewing audience. Everybody probably remembers that Schooner Landing had a fire, September, it was around Labor Day of 2024. And I guess it was I think it was about a year ago, the applicant came and got approval for some temporary, the pier was approved, a permanent pier was approved and that was built, and then there was some temporary structures that were approved, and now this is really basically kind of like the final plan here.
Yeah.
At least under, and we can get into it, but under shoreline zoning, you've got, I think, 18 months to rebuild. If you have a non-conforming building, or if there's non-conformities, they're legally existing, you can continue them as long as you rebuild within or get approval within 18 months. And so that's kind of what we're going for. What the applicant's going for here is you'll see, wants to continue some of the non-conformities that you can't take advantage of under the current shoreline zoning unless they were already legally existing. So that's what this is. And I don't know if there's anything else.
Sure. So, the plan would be to operate this summer the way we did last year, with the same exact setup. And then in the fall, soon as we close, to strike what we have up there, move stuff around a little bit, which all the blueprints will show. And then construct a 30 by 40 building up in the far left corner, like closest to the municipal parking lot in that corner. Simple structure, Matt Jones is gonna build it with us. 3-season, not insulated, probably insulate the roof. But just a, bunch of windows on the riverside, little satellite bar on the end that opens to the deck, and, the bathrooms in the rear. And just something we can get in out of the rain on a rainy day, and, something that, and I can maybe do a little more in the spring and fall. We didn't have much rain last year, but of course we didn't get open until July 1st. If we'd been open in June, if you remember, it rained a lot in June last year, so this will help us not get skunked out of too many days, and if it's a rainy summer, so we'll at least have somewhere to go to. It'll end up being 60 to 70, 75 seats inside, which isn't, nearly as big as what we have outside, but on a rainy day, you're not as busy. And it's, I think, still worth the expenditure, mainly because on a rainy day in town, the restaurants still do pretty well. There's nothing else to do. Nobody's going boating, nobody's going golfing, nobody's going to the beach. They come to town and they go shopping and they go out to lunch. John Rennie's favorite days are rainy days in August, it's busy in town. So we're lucky that we are in town for those days. So a lot of the places down on points get totally skunked out on a rainy day, so that's our thinking anyways right now. So it'll be quite a bit smaller than the building that was there, and the entirety of it will be in the old, well within the old footprint.
And it will house what you're showing on here is your dining and restrooms?
Yeah.
That 30 by 40?
Yeah. Well, 30 by 40, and then there's on the back side, what you're seeing in a separate color there, it's like a shed roof for the restrooms that's connected, so.
And
Just
so,
so the building isn't too gaumy, I think it would just look better with a little shed roof on the back.
on the second level. New improved level. The.
Oh, yes,
the
the whole thing is
reconstruction.
on the new pier,
Yeah,
yes,
the new pier.
up higher, which is, I think, a good idea in case you have floods again or whatever.
Yeah.
Or when we have floods again, I guess.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna try to make it look really traditional. We'll probably, the whole thing will be wood. Here, we updated it to put temporary structures in place. And it's a matter of updating it again.
Okay,
He indicated to me that as long as it's in the old footprint, that I'm not gonna have a hard time, but he has to wait for you guys to approve before you can submit it.
oh, okay.
That's the order of things. I thought it was the other way around, but
That's, so
So that's a condition of.
we'll just make it the condition of approval that you get your DEP permit before you.
both times we submitted, we got responses in like 4 or 5 days on it.
Both of that's still done. Let me just check, sorry. Sorry, technical difficulty.
With your owl dead?
I guess so, but, I think, oh no, he's on. Wow.
Like. There was a blue light on before. It's a blue light on. Oh, yeah, it is.
Still on?
It's on.
And, okay, well, that's, oh, maybe I did this.
Everything's blinking again.
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just gonna make DEP, permit by rule update as a condition of approval.
You can see from this too that this is the outline of the original pier that burned all out here. So when we built it a little bit smaller when we rebuilt it. So everything that we're building now is well within that whole footprint, because the building used to be this whole thing. So this would be the 30 by 40 with the restrooms here. And this is just gonna be a roof structure that covers the cooking sheds,
Yep.
basically, trailer and shed. So, I mean, it'll look a lot like it looks now. We're gonna keep, the reason we pushed it way over there is the expanded view just worked. Everybody loved it. We loved it. Customers loved it. So you'll still have, it's almost exactly the same amount of deck space. The shaded lighter gray is the tent that was there.
Mhm.
So the tent will stay up there as well. So it's really, it's gonna have about the same amount of view as we had before. Nothing else changes really.
Okay, so anything else? There's a couple things that I want to just touch on. Kind of for the record, couple uses, what, at least what I have in the findings is that the current uses there are, include the boatyard, marina, aquaculture, and I said drinking place and restaurant are both permitted in the downtown. The difference is that, yeah, I think if you're a restaurant, you can't ever exclude anybody under 21. So it's kind of like whichever you want. Either one, I believe, they're conditional, both are conditional uses, but they are permitted in the downtown. Let me see, which one? Boat, marina, aquaculture, are not listed in the land use table. I think marina is defined, but it's not listed, which is weird. Either way, I just wanted to make sure that we get those, like, the uses that are there can continue,
Yeah.
even if they're legally non-conforming.
Yep.
I think boatyard is the only use that is permitted to continue as a conforming use, so. But so those are good and legally non-conforming, more conforming. It sounds like you're not expanding anything, right? The building to be smaller than it was before the fire.
By a lot. And
Yeah.
The original building was, about 5,000 square feet.
So even any of the non-conforming uses, they are not expanding. Yeah, they could expand by 30%, but we don't even need to have to get into that, so.
So you mentioned they can grandfather if the construction begins.
That's for shoreland.
Okay.
That's for, so the uses, which, non-conforming uses expire if you stop them for more than a year.
Right.
None of the uses have stopped for more than a year because
Okay.
they were in operation
Right.
over the summer. But I just want to just get that down, that those are the uses that are there. And the planning board can allow them to continue because they never extinguished them. The shoreline zoning, it's the same thing with uses, and more importantly for buildings, for structures. They, you don't have a year, it's 18 months, at least for structures. It's 18 months that you get kind of grandfathered in, or you can continue them. or rebuild them. More importantly, I think is the rebuilding and the rebuilding, the conditions, and we'll get to them, but generally it's that they can't be expanded. And you have to, the ordinance requires that you move the structures as far inland as is practically feasible. So non-existing structures are allowed to stay unless there's somewhere that you can push them away from the water that is more feasible. So I think that, and this is kind of for you to decide, is this being moved back from the water as much as is practically feasible, recognizing that I think it's been moved back a little bit, as Scott pointed out, that the shaded area that they didn't rebuild, so this doesn't reach out to the water as far as it did. And it's not that, like, I don't think the standard is that you have to move it back as far as like technically possible. It's if this starts to move closer to the street, it's going to take up parking, which they also need, and things like that. So it is not expanding any nonconformity. It is actually reducing some of the nonconformity. And I think unless the planning board thinks that this is not the most practical extent, that it's not being moved back to the most practical extent, then that's a different conversation we should have. But those are basically, that's kind of my distillation of what the shoreline zoning is looking for here.
Well, and doesn't it read that the option is if you can't go back, you can go up, right?
If that's
Which is
more true for the flood hazard management ordinance, which I did note in the findings that the pier is built to 3 feet above 100-year flood, which I think is like 100-year flood is like elevation 11, and this pier is built 3 feet above that. So it's either you have to move back out of the flood hazard area, which the flood hazard area it goes basically back to here, which if you I can't quite see it on here, but from memory it's shown on here as back here. But if you can't, and water dependent uses and things like that, it's like aquaculture and marinas and things can be closer to the water. But so in a flood hazard area, you either have to be up 1 foot and flood proofed, which is a whole design thing, or you can just go up 3 feet so that like the bottom of the floor has to be 3 feet above the flood hazard elevation, which the pier was built. So the top of the pier basically is at that level. So when they build on it, it's going to necessarily be above. So they don't need to flood proof it. It's just out of the flood hazard area. So that's you can't move back, move it up. So just want to make sure we get all the like weird, tricky things addressed and on record here. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Okay, so parking was a little bit of a weird thing. I guessed at some of these numbers, so tell me if this is not accurate.
Yes.
Parking is you have, I guess that I made it guesstimated at 24 birds there.
Yeah, that might be over.
Okay.
20 maybe.
Yeah, and I know it depends on how big the boat is, because it's really by
How big
feet.
that giant truck is.
Right. So,
Or if they park this way, sometimes they come in and park that way.
yeah, and I guess that you have
Four.
11 parking spaces now. Does that sound right?
Oh, I thought you were talking about parking.
Oh, no,
So, no, I'd say there's more parking space than that. I'd say it's
Okay.
close to 20.
closer to 20.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what you're talking about.
no, I was talking about birds for the marina,
Oh.
because it
close to
requires
35, somewhere in there.
Oh, okay. It's 1 space for every 2 birds. So if you're saying that there are 30, you get 30 boats in there. That'd be
Yeah, some big ones in there now, so they got
15,
quite a bit, but-
yeah, right. And then the restaurant is 1 space for every 3 seats. So how many seats do you think you have at the restaurant?
A lot more than I have parking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, there's no way you're going to meet the
Yeah.
parking requirements. But again, there's a couple things. One, you didn't meet it before, you didn't meet that requirement, so again, you can kind of be grandfathered on that.
Well, nobody in town does, right?
Right.
I think there's a few, probably there might be one or two that happen to, the bank right now, I think, has more than enough, but Bangor Savings has plenty of parking. But, in the downtown also, the planning board can reduce the parking requirements if
Sure.
they consider the municipal parking and all of that, so, but I just wanna get on here, basically, you've got 30 per, that'd be 15 spaces, and you've got, I don't know, 150 seats?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
So that would be 50 parking spaces, so that would be 65 parking spaces is what would be needed. And we'll say you've got 20, is that reasonable? Okay, so the first thing is you're not providing more than 120% of the parking that's required, so that's good. And then I also noted in here, comes a little bit later, but basically, this is kind of up to the planning board, how you wanna handle either saying it's a legally existing non-conformity with the under parking, or say that, the parking required can be reduced. It's kind of six of one, half a dozen of the other kind of result, but it's up to you all how you wanna decide that.
Well, I would say that because it's near the municipal parking lot, that counts.
Okay,
I can cover that.
And classically in the downtown area, we've got restaurants. I mean, some of those places have no parking,
right, oh yeah,
quite a few of them.
there's. Yes.
So,
So do you wanna, I guess, I think the way that I noted it in here is that the lack of parking is an existing nonconformity, which the planning board can allow to continue, and the municipal parking lot will help satisfy some of the needs that aren't gonna be met on site. So assuming that sits well with you all, I don't think it needs to be
That's fine.
airtight
do
on.
we have to make a motion on that?
No, we'll just include it in the findings, and
Okay.
if that works for you all.
Works for me.
Um,
How about you, Neil?
No, that's fine.
okay. Um. Then.
What's your next one?
Let me see. I gotta give this to the fire chief. He's been busy. I haven't been able to connect with him, but I think that should be condition of approval. It's all building plans in the C1 district should be certified by a licensed professional for compliance with relevant fire codes.
Yeah.
Assuming if review and approval by the fire chief satisfies that, then we can do that, or we can have it go to like a third party, but
I'd go with the fire chief.
fire chief.
I'd go with the fire chief every time.
I assumed, so I will make that a condition of approval. GSB, I think it was this today that I added this updated site plan, and then also there was a letter from the sanitary district saying the original plan was good. I just got an updated one saying this plan is also, they can deal with it, so that should be all set. Okay. I don't think there was anything that was particularly interesting in the site plan review.
You mentioned, a stormwater management plan, but is that really relevant here?
No.
Yeah, that's,
That's a
yeah,
good point.
I
It's
think
pretty much addressed, when we brought in that
Yeah.
9,000 truckloads of rock to restabilize the bank, and
And
not much erosion going on.
right, I don't think there's any erosion,
There was before.
And
And then-
this project won't produce any erosion
No.
anyway.
and then the other thing is, as far as like impervious surface, the whole site is effectively impervious,
Yeah.
even though it's not paved. I mean, it's been driven on, water's not running, so it's not like it's creating more impervious surface. I imagine if anything, it's probably gonna be effectively more pervious because of the work that's been done with the rocks and everything, so any water that's. Okay, so. Let's see if there was anything else. There's no lighting proposed currently.
I mean, there's a lot of lighting on the property already, and whatever we put up for a building, there'll be, outside lighting, of course, by the doors,
Right,
all
okay.
that stuff.
So I think maybe we can, because I'm sure you don't have that figured out yet, send that to code enforcement to make sure that that complies. When they have the design for it, what are the standards for
Lighting has to be, facing downward, or, what I mean, has,
full cutoff, so the light has to be above the bottom of the,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Okay. Site access isn't changing. The layout of the parking is not changing. Water quality, but this is on town water, it's not gonna drain it's not like there's a well there to be, impacted.
They got town water, town sewer.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's some natural beauty and kind of landscaping standards that are in here, but I don't think there's no trees or bushes really
No.
on the site.
Well, some flower beds and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Right. But there's no buffering,
Right.
there's not, yeah, so that I didn't see as, seemed like it was not applicable. The historic and archaeological resources. It's a fully developed site. I mean, there might be some interesting stuff buried under there from when they built the pier, but no different than,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, I think that's phosphorus control, it's all
That's in Great Ponds.
yeah, and again, it's on sewer and water, so
So,
it's not large scale development. All right, so then there's shoreline zoning. Let me just make sure there's nothing in here. The height is still below, but I think the overall height was maybe 25 feet, and you could go up to 35 if you wanted to. So, lot area is fine. I will note that I think it's required to have 100 feet of lot frontage on Main Street, and it's got 71.6 feet legally existing non-conforming lot. So, not an issue. Talked about the 3 feet above flood hazard elevation. Okay, I don't think that there is.
but.
Okay, yeah. I got a couple things that, assuming that is there anything else that you all want to address, consider, look at?
No, it seems pretty straightforward.
Okay. Yeah, that's, I think as far as the,
So the floodplain management ordinance, you said there were some things you highlighted in there,
what did floodplain, oh, you know what it was?
but just things to be waived.
Yeah, so it is required to have a flood hazard permit, which the planning board, I mean, that's part of this review. And then there's a number of things that I think can be waived, like providing the cost of the development, that this was designed by an engineer, which Gartley and Dorsey is an engineer and put together these plans. Doesn't need floodproofing, like I said, it's above that. It is 3 feet above the flood hazard elevation, so it doesn't need floodproofing. It could have been 1 foot above and needed, but and then there's no water course that's proposed to be altered, so so basically is cost of development, and a description of the extent which any water course will be altered or relocated. I think it's mostly for rivers, and yes, this is kind of a river, but it's not altering any water course. So I think that, oh, and the flood proofing, which it doesn't need. So I think it was the cost estimate, the flood proofing, and a description of altered water course, which I don't think any, those three are relevant.
Yep.
Okay. Hmm. Oh, okay, so there is, one thing is, proposed development will be served by, GSB and, will be permitted, the plumbing will be permitted according to state standards, so that'll happen when you get to that point. And same with the, sewer, same thing, which really is just that you have to connect to GSB.
Yeah.
No septic is proposed, so, okay. I think this is maybe the only one that might be relevant, is that accessory structures on the site need to have ground fault interrupt electrical outlets. So I imagine that that's doing that
Yeah.
anyway, but
Did all that.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that was
Everything's-
required.
was built
Is that a
modular.
town issue?
It's in the flood hazard. We don't, this is
That's
what's
a,
weird.
that's a state issue.
We don't do electrical, but it's in the flood hazard ordinance, so
Really?
yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm like.
I didn't
okay.
even know that. That's ridiculous that that's in there, because I mean, we've got no jurisdiction over that at
Over
all.
electrical stuff, right, I
No.
know, we don't enforce the MUBEC stuff, so.
No.
I don't
Wow.
know, but it's in there, so I included it.
Any electrical person is gonna do that anyway.
That's what I kind of figured, like, it was not gonna be,
We've got state.
I didn't think there
laws
was gonna be
that follow.
pushback on it, so.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's that.
So you've looked at a copy of this, right?
But of what?
Of the
The whole
Findings.
findings?
I don't, again, I sent it to you,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah. So was there anything in there that you thought was?
Not really,
I'll go through, we've got 6 conditions of approval, I imagine they'll be fairly strict, and we'll go through, so that's just clear, and if you got an issue, we can talk about them.
The tail end.
So, yes, I did, so what I've got here,
I gotcha.
if there's any, I'm happy to go forward on planning board action, be finding the application to be complete, accepting the findings of fact, and then, I think we can go through the conclusions of law, if you wanna act on it, you can. So. That sound good to you?
Yeah, let me just read through this real quick.
Is number 6 your DEP permit?
It is number 3 now. Well, I'm working on a live one, but yes.
They're
all
all say
it
the
is now.
6th one.
Cause yes, in your copy, it just
Shows 5, correct?
So,
I was gonna ask you where number 6 was.
that's, yeah, so, sorry, that's, let me read through these, and what I've got is, there's 3 conditions of approval that need to be addressed before pulling a permit. Building permit, and it is, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall pay all outstanding review and permitting fees. Pretty basic, prior to the issuance of a building permit. Application shall be reviewed and certified by the Damariscotta Fire Chief for compliant with relevant fire codes. And then the third one is getting the DEP permit updated to cover this current proposal. And then got 3 conditions which don't need to be satisfied prior to pulling a building permit, and that is about that the proposed development will be served by the GSB sanitary district water network and will be permitted according to the state plumbing standards by the local plumbing inspector. Basically the same thing for the sanitary sewer network, and will be permitted according to the state plumbing standards and the local plumbing inspector. And then the final one is that all accessory structure on the site will be required to have only ground fault interrupted electrical outlets. So those are all no issue with you, and if those satisfy any concerns that you all have, then
I'm pretty good with this.
okay. Great.
You had some waivers up there that I don't think any of them are really pertinent to anything on this that you.
Let's see.
that I
Probably did it. Probably had it right
there.
about that.
Potential to be waived, I mean. I don't think any of that really pertains to this project anyway, so I don't think it's worth, it's page 33.
That was probably for the Where'd I put it? That was probably for the flood.
Yeah.
It was.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay,
So, I mean, I just ignore that.
okay. So got those on there, and I think that if you wanna, you know, keep noting those requirements that you're waiving. If you wanna find the application to be
Yeah,
complete,
do we have a motion to find the application complete?
Sure, I'll make a motion that we find this application and all the materials to be complete.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, all those opposed, thank you.
do you want to?
We have to adopt the findings of fact.
Okay, I make a motion to accept and adopt the findings of fact as updated and amended through the February 2nd planning board meeting.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Okay.
Alright.
Everything was outlined in there with the flood management ordinance, site plan ordinance, and shoreline zoning ordinance.
Yep, so there's.
So we're all covered on there.
Well, I think what would make sense is if you find that it's consistent with the site plan, the shoreline, and the
You wanna
floodplain.
know that, because it's already listed in here, you wanna do it separately?
Well, if you find those three, because then the
Yeah.
land use ordinance,
Yeah.
there's like three conditions, one of which
Yeah.
is that you find it consistent with the site plan review, so.
Right.
If you want to do floodplain, shoreline and site plan, determine that it's consistent with those three.
Yeah.
Take a vote on that, and then maybe take
You
a
wanna
separate
make a
vote.
motion on that one?
I make a motion that we find the project, in,
Consistent?
consistent with the site plan review, the shoreline zoning ordinance and the floodplain management ordinance.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second it.
All those in favor? All those opposed? I guess last but not least,
And then one more is the land use ordinance. There's three criteria. One is that, there's certain requirements met, and that is that it meets the requirements of the land use ordinance and the site plan review ordinance. Two is that, the effect is not adverse. The use will not have an adverse effect on the health, safety, general welfare of the residents of the area or the general public. And then C is not really a requirement, but it's conditions can be attacked by the planning board, which we've already gone through. So
Yeah.
assuming that you find that the certain requirements are met and that the effect is not adverse, I think you can,
you wanna vote on that also?
yeah, I think that would be good.
Okay, somebody wanna make a motion on that one?
Basically, that it's consistent with the land use ordinance.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that the project is consistent with the land use ordinance.
all right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we'll have a couple seconds.
That's all right.
All those in favor?
It doesn't hurt.
All those opposed?
Either one. Not opposed.
And check with the person who raised their hand just to make sure.
And Matt, you voted.
I think you can vote to accept it now if you
Yeah.
wanna.
Think if you want to approve the
Okay,
application.
so make a motion to accept this application
And approve it.
and approve it.
Yeah. Okay, do I have a second? Okay, all those in favor? All those opposed? There you go, chum. Good luck.
Okay, got it. I didn't get the motion and second on that, but I assume you did. Good, okay,
It was Began and Jackson.
wonderful, wonderful. Okay,
Awesome,
that's it.
thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
So I just need something from you to send to Will at some point so he can get it for the
I
DP.
will send you a notice of decision on Wednesday,
Perfect,
and then,
great,
That's exciting.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I just gotta pay for
Opening May 1st.
it, yeah. I was hoping to get going this winter and all my people looked at me and said, can we take like, one winter off? We've been building that place for like 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
You know, before the fire even, we're
Yeah.
building up, so.
It was finally done.
So we'll do one summer where we can just open and go without a project, you know,
That'll feel good.
big project all,
Yeah.
hopefully get it all, buttoned up before the snow comes next fall.
Good one to take off anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you like how it went last summer?
Yeah, it was great.
It
I mean,
seemed
we,
Really
that
good.
little setup that we put together, it worked out great because we were able to, as soon as the pier was complete. Billy Prescott came down with his big truck and put everything in place, and we just had the plumbers, and electricians go in and get everything hooked up and go. So it worked really well, and we were able to do as many meals out of that as we always did. And more, actually, it was more efficient in a lot of ways,
Good.
because we were able to design it from scratch, so everything
Yeah.
was real efficient. So we're looking forward this year to, getting back up to 7 days a week and having another good summers.
Will the kitchen be incorporated into it? Your modular kitchen will be,
Yeah, we're gonna
incorporated?
keep using it. I mean, it worked great. And I
Into
don't
the-
really see any reason to spend another, $200,000 or $300,000 to rebuild the kitchen.
Yeah.
This thing cranked. And we have, we're continuing to use J1 students. We had, I think, 6 last year. We're gonna have 8 or 9 this year. So that we can get up to 7 days a week, and that really helps so much. And then I just best part that happened to me was my manager just looked at me after the 4th of July and told me to go away. Basically, I said, "What am I holding in the way now?" And they basically saw, the stress in my eyes, I think, from last winter, from all the stuff I had to get, between all this stuff and the insurance and planning and the banking and on and on and on and on. It was a big lift to get open in eight months, but we did it. So I had some time off. It was great.
I
think
think
he'll-
you cornered the market
think
on
great.
pressure treated lumber too.
You don't even want to know what that bill was.
Every time I glance over there, I go, whoa.
Oh, man. And we all had screw guns down there. I don't ever care about putting another piece of that stuff down anywhere. That was 5,200 square feet of 2x6.
Yeah, oh, I saw it.
Yes. But it was a fun project, but it was brutal. No shade down there, and last spring it was hot. We all got sunburned and all that, but it was something we'll look back at and laugh about someday, right?
I always go.
But you never know. You just never know when this stuff happens, you
Hey.
just gotta do it.
Just sitting there and knowing it was done right.
Yeah.
Really,
Tell you what, Mark Zaccadelli and his boys do an
yeah,
amazing job. I'm
They
really,
did.
really impressed. Very thoughtful and hardworking and get it down. And that'll last another 100 years now, so.
Yeah.
It'll certainly outlast me. So,
Do the J1 students find their own housing for the summer?
No, about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I bought a house on Biskie Road.
Oh,
And we put them all up in there, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths.
oh,
Yeah, that helps a lot.
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and it's close, good for them. They're right next to Hannaford, and package store and the laundromat, everything, and then bought them a bunch of bikes, and they go back and forth on bikes. So works good.
That
We're
was
all
really,
happy, real happy to be here.
yeah, that was a good idea.
Well, it's an old idea, and people have been doing it on the coast for a long time.
Mm.
Back in the day when I was playing music around pretty much everywhere I went, they had big employee houses with people from all over the place. It's not enough bodies around to
No,
work in all the kitchens on the coast of Maine,
all right,
so,
certainly, yeah.
Anyway. Thanks,
Have a great night.
thanks, you too.
We'll see you guys around somewhere.
Scottish, hang your hat there.
There you go. All right, cheers.
Thanks.
So there's nothing else on the agenda. I did include a letter that I got today regarding Bangor Savings Bank's property at 100 Main Street downtown. You probably heard that they are closing that, and
I'm going to sell it.
yeah, they're gonna sell it. And so the so they just want, so they sent this, they're gonna request an extension of the approval that the planning board gave them last summer.
Well, why would we do that?
I don't know.
Here's
Well,
my question.
you don't have to. I mean, you have to look and see. But I wanted to at least give this to you and that now you know that they're looking for it and I don't know what their plans are. I mean, their plans
So we
are,
would give we'd give like, an extension to owners that we don't even know, or a use that we don't even know. I mean, it's kind of weird.
Well, it has to meet what was
Yeah.
approved, if we're
Yeah.
gonna extend it, has to mean exactly what
Yeah.
we're gonna approve, what we approve, rather.
yeah. So if it's gonna change, if the use is gonna change, they're gonna have to come in for
Yeah.
new use. Right now, it's basically bank and parking for the bank. So now, if they wanna put another bank in there, fine. I guess the other thing to think about also is that what was approved. If that same application came before you, can't imagine you would make a different finding on it. I mean, ideally, when you go through this, you're looking, you're saying, yes, it's consistent and it's. So if they come in with a different application, you might find something different, but if they come in with the same application.
No, we don't change anything.
Yeah, it would be hard to justify saying, no. We don't know you, so we're having, the standards being different. Now, if they come in with a different project, that's a different story. But.
Right, but all we approved was the parking lot, had nothing to do with the bank other than they owned it,
Yeah, basically.
basically. I
And
mean,
well, it was parking for the bank, or really, I mean, they didn't
well,
necessarily
the other, right,
use it for the bank, but.
so when do we have to, well, yeah, I guess it's, in my opinion. I would be okay with the extension as long it has to stay exactly the same as what we approved before,
Yeah.
right? And if the
They have
use
to.
changes of the building, then that project's out and they have to come to something different.
Yeah,
Correct.
well, or, I mean, they could also come and say, we wanna put a restaurant in there, we wanna build the parking out the way that was already proposed. And, you could look at it and say, okay, well, if you find that the use is okay, you could say, yeah, we don't need to re-review the parking as long as the parking stays the way that it is, we don't change anything, and we're comfortable with this new use. You could also say, no, that use is not okay and has to stay bank, the specifics would depend, but. It's kind of like, you kind of have most of they need permission if they want to do anything different.
Did they figure out all their deed issues with that land?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, as far as with, and Lizette, I don't know, maybe this is why you're okay. I don't believe that there's been any new development. Essentially, what was approved was they were like, we're just staying away from that shared property line. So what's proposed and what was approved doesn't. I think everybody's pretty comfortable that it's not impacting. It doesn't.
Impact all the gray
The
area.
gray areas, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I know that there were some other conversations with other property owners about expanding the access easement between Vestai and Macadamia, but that was all after this approval happened, and it was basically between private parties. So whether that happened, I don't know, but it wouldn't have affected this. But what I can also say is you don't have to take any action on this. Like I told them they sent this today. I was going to share it with you because we're having this meeting. If you would like, I can tell them to have someone come to the next meeting and you can ask questions, if you need that, if you want that.
I don't know if we really need that, because
What
if
did they
they're not
answer right now?
changing anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
no,
not
no.
asking for anything else.
Yeah.
And refresh my memory on one little thing.
Uh-huh.
As I remember, part of their agreement was they were gonna keep their parking lot open for public use, not for just bank customers, but for the public. Was that not true?
Well, they
stated
not
that.
officially. I think what
They
they
stated that.
what they had said was they don't plan on enforcing. But as far as I can tell, if they wanted to just tomorrow say, this isn't gonna be open to the public anymore, and we're gonna start enforcing, we're gonna tow people who aren't authorized to be there, they could, they didn't like give up that
Okay.
right.
Nothing was
So,
in the permit that wasn't
Yeah.
a condition of.
Yeah.
the permit.
I only asked that question because I don't remember.
Yeah,
I remember them stating that they were
The
gonna
back
keep it.
hours,
yeah, they basically said, like, kind of informal handshake, like, we're not gonna tell people to leave, and they don't enforce parking back there.
So it was
but-
never in the ordinance.
No, it wasn't, and it was,
Not the ordinance. but the
no,
agreement.
yeah. They basically were like, we're not going to, but they didn't like guarantee they would not.
Okay.
Enforce it, so,
Okay.
okay, so. Doesn't sound like you want them to come to the next meeting, but we can save this for action at the next meeting if you want, I mean, if you want.
I'm fine with it.
Then,
I mean, I don't
um,
mind extending that for another year, but if they go over the 2 years, then
yeah, that's also.
that's probably gonna be
I
time
wouldn't-
to take another look at it.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend extending it for more than 1 year at a time anyway.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I think if we're gonna say that, go the 1 year and nothing within the scope can change, right?
Yeah, no,
It has to follow that, and I don't see why.
and nothing can change, like, even if they ask for something to change.
Right, no, I
don't
understand
think The
that.
board would be able to.
I just think it needs to be clear in there that,
Unless they come up with a whole new app.
They'd have to come in, yeah. they'd have to-
because if somebody else buys it and thinks they can do something different, I just think it needs to stay within that.
No, that's, and that's, part of this is, because the broker reached out to me to ask like what can be done, and a lot of this was like, lots of stuff can be done, gonna need approval, but. This. The existing approval can be transferred, it's just, nothing can change, so.
Is there any set time on this selling them?
Not that I'm
Yeah.
aware of, so,
Be interested to see what happens with them.
yeah, I mean, I think that's a great property in downtown that. Used to be a building there, it was office, I don't think was ever used for
There's a
housing.
diner out there, there's a boatyard,
Yeah, yeah,
all kinds of stuff in there.
there's
There's
opportunity
apartments and
for,
all kinds of junk.
for it to be more than just the kind of paved uneven parking lot that it is
There's
now.
even a bar down ditch there, what was the name of that?
What,
There against the leather?
Yeah. Was that it?
No,
No,
well, the little breakfast restaurant back there
well,
on the
there
line
was
when I was a
there was a
kid.
diner
Yeah,
out there,
the
but there was a
diner,
little
yeah.
bar that sat right in that little dip.
Oh, little Lincoln Inn,
Yeah, that was it.
No,
Lincoln-
yeah.
Oh,
Lincoln
Lincoln
Inn.
Inn?
I delivered newspapers there, yeah.
Yeah, Lincoln Inn, who
Yeah.
owned that? You remember?
Roy Stevens had it for a while.
Yeah, but somebody had it
What-
before
yeah,
him.
Do you mean where the boatyard used to be right
Yeah,
there?
yeah, it was right
It's
there,
in that area.
yeah.
The
right
low
there.
part
Down
that
in-
floods.
down in-
Okay,
It was this long skinny little building,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. All right, well, if they do come to do anything besides parking there, it's in the flood zone, I mean, they have to,
Oh, yeah.
so.
All
Okay,
right,
well, I
I'm
will
good
say
with it.
that, I'm trying to think of what else, a couple of things that.
Yeah, sign.
radar. Yes, there is some stuff to sign, the PPI project, the. Planning Partnership Initiative with DOT, I think I mentioned it before, that DOT is gonna partner with the town and study. Main Street, Route 1B basically from Bristol Road up to NC Hunt where it meets with Route 1 regular. And we've got some public meetings coming.
so when is that supposed to happen? They're rebuilding that road, right?
Even when's the construction supposed to happen?
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect it for at least 3 years. That would be
Okay.
quick.
Right.
It's not happening this summer, I can tell you that.
Okay,
And it's probably not gonna happen next summer. DOT, it takes them at least 3 years. Once they get a project, they have a 3-year work plan, and I don't think they're gonna. Plus, we gotta find money, or they have to find, that's the whole thing. But we're at least probably gonna do, or we are gonna do some outreach and do some kind of concept designs to see what should go there. Oh, what kind of design we want for that. So that's coming. Once we actually get specific dates and details on that,
Make
we'll.
sure you give a lot of traffic, sir.
Oh, you know what? That might not be difficult, but
I think we ought to have more.
I'm gonna,
Every intersection, we have traffic.
because you like this new one that's on route.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say enough nice about.
So are we not acting on the extension?
I don't believe so
No.
unless you want to. I didn't think so.
Do you wanna make a motion on the extension? Anybody wanna make a motion before we shut this thing down?
It's okay, I
Or
just
you wanna
want to
wait till next
be
month?
clear what we were doing.
let's wait.
Yeah, okay. I don't think they were expecting action today. They sent it over today,
So
so.
wait till next month.
I think that's it. Is there anything else I need to tell them down here? Yeah,
Just come sign stuff. before you
yeah,
come to-
fine stuff. Okay, other than that, I'm done.
Make a motion to,
Anybody want a motion? Make a motion, to close that?
make a motion to.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor? All those opposed? Perfect.
Thank
Right.
you all.
Nice timing there, Mike.
So we can see it.